do this, huh? I am a technological mastermind. I totally meant for Brian to be in the intro, and that's how we roll. I'm Mr. Brad Chester. Right next to me, I've got Mr. Brian Horton. In the corner and timeout, we've got Mr. Thomas Ogden. And in the bottom left-hand corner, instead of Mr. Crowley, who's in so far away, far away on work, we have the Emperor. I say that's a lie. I didn't put the Emperor. I was going to put the Emperor. I put Abaddon. I feel like I made the right choice. I stand by my decision.
I mean, you said you put the Emperor down there. It's all the same, right? Some human guy.
It's some human guy. You're not wrong. You are not wrong, my friend. We've got stuff to talk about. We've got things. We've got stuff. We've got a perfectly balanced meta. And we've got some topics that I picked.
Perfectly balanced. Those are words that don't go together currently.
Lyle says still no super chat. Tom said there was super chats. Tom lied to me. He's made this into a house of lies.
No. If he had it loaded before I enabled it, have him refresh.
Refresh. Enhance even. We're going to start this entire stream off with saying happy birthday to Eloise. Wee.
Happy birthday to the mama of DOG.
All of the goodness, some of the times. They're coming up this week. And by the way, Brandon and Eloise will be up there for the first annual Condo RTT.
Did she come away this weekend?
Yeah.
Ah.
Legendary indeed. So, how's it going, boys?
It's going well. I had a fantastic week plus.
Well, one of us was on a cruise ship playing with toys.
I may or may not have been at a little bit at Cruise Hammer there, having a glorious time of playing Warhammer, enjoying lovely Caribbean, and a lot of beverages.
we were going to put up a poll on how many Moscow Mules we thought you were in by the time we went live on Thursday at 7. So
the funny part is the Royal Caribbean app, as you go to the bars and get drinks, it keeps track of your account. And there was one day at noon, I'd already had 8 drinks, and I was like, that seems like a low number. I got to pick that up.
God.
I think I did like 17 before dinner one night from like noon to 6.
Not a problem.
It's not a problem unless you fall down and don't get back up.
Yeah. All of the goodness, some of the stuff, well, tell us a little bit about Cruise Hammer. Let's start with that because I really want to hear about it because I'm jelly that I didn't go, and being on a cruise ship and playing with toys seems fantastic.
So Cruise Hammer is really a fun event. The way it's designed is it's across the 7-day cruise. 2 of the days that you're at sea where, the boat's flying around, you get to go into the hull of the ship basically and play Warhammer with a bunch of other nerds and hang out. And it's pretty much your standard Warhammer tournament for the most part. Dan does a nice job, brings in terrain. There was 36 of us there this year doing this one. And it's a bunch of similar minded people there who have fun, play Warhammer, hang out, and have a good time. The fantastic part about it is because you're on a boat, it just becomes you get to learn and meet and hang out with everybody. And it's a cruise. I mean, we boarded in Jersey. We went down to Florida. You could hop off and do an excursion there or hang out on the boat. Then we went to Coco Cay, which is Royal Caribbean's exclusive island. And then we went over to Nassau, Bahamas. My wife and I went to a beach, did some snorkeling, swimming, enjoyed life. And then we played Warhammer for 2 days. I had amazing matches. My first 5 matches were really great. My first round opponent, absolutely fantastic. My second round opponent, playing Eldar, made a really difficult decision on how to line up his Wraith Knight. And I got to go first and got to pick it up with a lot of decent shooting that I was within range of. And in the third round, I played against a demon player, and Tom would be really proud of me on this one. I lined everything up on the line and went, if I go first, Bellacor's in range of the 12 Zoanthropes, the 2 Exocrines, and the T-Fex, and the Hive Tyrant with a Venom Cannon. I'm pretty sure you can't make that many saves. I think I was like, well, we'll have to see. And I was like, and I went first, and I full on Tom Ogden and went, well, what if he was dead and some other stuff as well? It was quite adventurous. So after day 1, I was in first place overall. Then they do a cut to top 8 from there. And then I played a Marine player in the 4th round, and he got a little bold and put Gilliman out in the open. And I decided that I had 4 CP, and I was going to I'll just throw an Overwatch to the T-Fex and see if something happens. I happened to double 6 him with the T-Fex's big gun. Needless to say, Gilliman did not survive that. And he got hit so hard with a rupture cannon that he didn't stand back up. That was absolutely fantastic. And in the 5th round, I played Alex from Sweden in probably one of the best games of 40K I've ever played. At the end of the 3rd round, he, playing Thousand Suns, was up on primary, and we were both going to clearly score probably 40 on secondaries. And I had to make a decision. And I sat there and went, at the most, I'm going to score 15 more on primary. And I'm pretty sure he's going to score at least 25 on primary. So I was like, I need to do something. So I went, well, all my Biovores are alive. If I gambit and I get the gambit where I can put stuff in corners, I have a 27% chance of winning this game. And we got to the end of the game. I needed to roll that 9 up to win the game. Rolled an 11. Won 100 to 96 with a gambit.
Would you say you pulled off the gambit?
I pulled off the gambit. And Alex was not upset at all. He thought it was a great game. It came down to the wire. It was absolutely glorious and a ton of fun. And when we came down to the finals, I was supposed to play Gabriel from Sweden, another fantastic player. I played him a couple weeks ago at a GT in Erie, Pennsylvania. And we got there, and I looked at him, he looked at me, and we both kind of did I don't really feel like playing this. And I'm like, I don't need to win the GT that bad. You win. And we shook hands and then went and had drinks. It was absolutely fantastic. It was a really good time. But let's talk about the swag that Cruisehammer gives you. In my background, you can see that you get a full set of dice, and they're really nice custom square-cornered dice made by Baron of Dice. A dice bag for them, FLG challenge coin that's full color, stickers, a tote bag, a measuring stick. It was absolutely fantastic. And then I happened to win Best Xenos as well, and got a little special widget for measuring with that said Best Xenos. And then I won Best Painted overall with my Tyranids. And I got a full set of measuring sticks and a magnetic carrying case. And it was really cool, and it was all customized. The FLG full color token, I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on screen. Really nice. It was a very nice piece that they put together for that. I got to give them a lot of credit. This was a great event. And of course, before the event, they had a meet and greet with hors d'oeuvres and free drinks for an hour on the first night of the cruise. And then they had a going away party where on the last night of the cruise, we all got together and did the same thing. There's appetizers, free drinks, and it was great. It is a luxury event. I'm not going to pull punches on anybody that it is not inexpensive to go. It is a cruise, but it's the same price as taking a cruise. And you still get a Warhammer event and swag with it. So I got to go with it's a little bit better of a deal in some ways. I spent less on this cruise than I did at LVO, which is saying a lot. So if people are looking at it in that light, Cruise Hammer is probably, I've done this the second year of doing it. Unless something prevents me from doing it next year, I will do it again. It is a glorious event that is really nice. I can't describe enough how much fun it is, how much you get to meet people, hang out with people. I've met a couple people on both cruises that became very good friends, and we still talk for the last 2 years, over everything and talk Warhammer. It's very much like when you meet people from around the country. This one, I got very nice to meet a couple guys from Sweden that I'd met just a couple weeks earlier, another little event, but we got to sit at the same dining table a couple nights out of the week, and it was just absolutely fantastic. And let alone if you're hungry at any point in time during the cruise, you just go and get a hot dog, a slice of pizza, pretty much anything you could possibly imagine for free. It's fantastic.
How much was the cruise? Again, I'm sorry if you said that.
It was about $1,200 for the cruise, and then you got to buy your drink package, which works out to be about $70 a day, which really isn't that much because you catch it when they have promotions all the time for it.
Awesome.
And
$70 a day for drinks sounds so cheap, bro.
I know. People are like, "Oh, well, you're spending you got to have at least 6 drinks a day." I'm like, I had 6 drinks by noon most days. What are you talking about?
Brad, I think we got a problem.
We got
You're talking about 6 drinks a day is a bad thing.
How bad?
That's like a 10 o'clock morning for me and Brad.
Yeah, I was just say $70. You mean a round of drinks? Let's do this.
I was like, it's $15 for a mixed drink on the cruise, and I'm like, if you spend $70 and you get 6 drinks a day, you've paid the minimum you would have paid for those 6 drinks. Everything after that's free. And there was one day, because Royal Caribbean has an app that you can just scroll through and see what you've gotten for drinks. When I hit 22 on the day, I stopped counting because I figured, well, I got my money's worth today. Yeah. And it was only 7 o'clock in the evening, and I drank until 11. So
I'm not going to name any names, but there was one time at ACO where this small midget, old 40K player was doing bottle service. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
By the time I found him, he was 3 services in, and when he hasn't been to ACO.
$70, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
$70 drink package would have helped me out a lot that day. So let's go to the wall, guys. We had a bunch of super chats while we were talking about Cruise Hammer. So Lyle's coming in at $5. He says the meta is perfectly balanced. There were the same number of Eldar 5-0s as non-Eldar 5-0s this weekend. And it comes in, Tom, Lees of Votan, Kondo Hammer RTT. These things are meant to be. There will be a 3 and there will be an O. The order doesn't matter. It's just you need those 2 numbers.
I mean, that doesn't matter. I'm playing leagues. I'm playing Death Guard. It doesn't matter. It's going to be the 3 and then the O. That's how it goes.
Lyle says the world needs to know. What is Tom bringing to Kondo Hammer this weekend?
I don't know, Brad. Why don't you tell everyone you're convincing me to start playing so I can take the Nova?
Eldar, I want Tom to be the evil mastermind. When I think Tom, I think the Imperial March. I think him stomping people. When I see Tom, I don't think that guy's going to bring something fluffy. I think Tom might be able to kill somebody in deployment. How did you pick his army up in deployment, Tom? I don't know. It just happened. We rolled for deployment. I was like, your guys are all dead. Look, man, this is going to happen all the time.
The army I'm taking a Nova is up in the air. So I want to take Tau. But Brad's trying to get me to take Eldar, so we shall see.
Well, Matt comes in with, if Tom brings Tau to Nova, that means Brad should bring Space Wolves, right? Do it. I'm bringing the Wog, baby. I'm bringing the Orcs. Oh, I would bring the Wolves if they would let me have Thunder Wolves with real weapons on them.
You don't like their new special awesome weapons?
Jesus, it's like Chotem Boy, man. There's just like. Is that a comedy rubber hammer that you're hitting people with?
I gotta say though, the more and more I'm getting ready to start playing 40K again, I'm pretty excited. I miss 40K. I'm missing out with everyone. I'm excited about Nova, hanging out with people. But before we get too far, I have a question that I kind of wanted to ask Brian. For someone who's kind of involved in DLG and on our events, 2 things. One, do you think the challenge coins are worth it, and should we start considering them for DLG events?
So I love exclusive swag.
Sorry, right? But I have to pause real quick. I've been to so many of those events. Should I have a bunch of coins? Because I have none.
Yeah.
Yes, is the
I
answer
don't
to
even
that.
know what they are.
They're a coin they give you when you sign up and register, and you get one of these, but you never walk up to the judges table. You make someone else do it for you, so you don't never get them.
Oh, that really does sum up why I do not have any coins.
So I really like the exclusive swag. I actually think giving someone an exclusive objective marker for your event would be equally as cool, because then you could get like a set of just different ones. So if you go to all the events with DOG, you get a full set by playing in all of them on the year. That's kind of my thing. Again, all different kinds of swag you can do. Kind of like it. I like the challenge coins because they're neat. They are very expensive to do, as I've looked into them as a TO, but they're pretty interesting.
You get anything with them? Should I have these?
So yes, you should have them, because if you go to any FLG event, for every coin you present them with, you get like prize stuff from them.
I want some prize stuff.
Or something. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a nice little thing they do.
I want these challenge coins now.
Yeah.
But
I really think that the custom.
Real quick for Miss Anna, I was randomly drunk one night and I seen one of the coolest models ever, and it says Morgan Raw. And you can't really see because I'm on my laptop and the camera sucks on it. This model is one of my best painted models, and I will run it. I will make Brad make me.
That is the thing. So, well, let's go with the super chat though. Anna says, if Tom runs Eldari, I dare him to run Morgan Ra and Dark Reapers. Ooh.
Nice.
Well, that's why I got that. I read that chat.
I'm saying Morgan Ra, I get it. Even though it's bad, is still doable. Man, Dark Reapers are bad. They are so paying for the sins of their fathers. Whoo! You're like, what are you guys armed with? You're like, t-shirt guns?
I will run this model, no problem. It's one of the best painted models. Back when I was so drunk heavy.
Matt's got a great super chat. Matt coming in $5 super chat, brother. We need a weekly recovery meeting for melee focused armies. Hi, my name is John and I play World Eaters. Custodes are not invited.
So, my second question I had for you, by the way, Brian, and this is for you as well, Brad. I really like the fact that he said they had a meet and greet. What do you think about when we run our super majors? Because we're always there on Thursday anyways, setting up. If like an hour of that Thursday, we set up like, we order a whole bunch of pizzas and drinks and stuff like that. We can't really provide alcohol because we don't have a license for it. So if somebody want to bring their own alcohol, they can. But then have like an hour where all the players can sit down and meet each other and talk and stuff, or 2 hours on Thursday. Do you think that's worth the consideration?
I love that idea. I would go outside of the pizza box personally, and just find a barbecue place to bring in like pulled pork or sliders or something that's just slightly more upscale than pizza, because I think that would just add to the mystique of it. It's one of the things that I like.
Pizza's for like 100, 200 people.
We can
get away for like $200.
I was going to say,
it's like $1,000.
Yeah, but the thing is
I didn't say it wasn't going to be more expensive.
Well, here's the thing. What would everybody be willing to throw down for something like that if we did a Q&A? If we did a Q&A table where you paid whatever you're going to pay for the event, the small thing, before the tournament, and we did like a round robin Q&A session, like just a hangout, put questions out to the crowd. Would people be interested in that? And what would it be worth? Obviously, we'd be providing food, so also it has to factor into that cost.
I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, again, it's one of the things of as you look at growing everything, and this is for every TO, as they look at growing, what services do they want to provide that's different from somebody else? I give Cruisehammer a lot of credit because Dan, who organizes this for FLG, he and his wife and the travel agent, whose name's Rhonda, it's stuck in my head for some reason, they do a phenomenal job bringing this package together. And although it's underneath the FLG banner, I think Dan does the vast majority of the work to pull this off, and he does a absolutely phenomenal job. And as I look at it going, man, I really want to do like a premium event like this where I want to do like something very unique and very different. This is just the inspiration to do that.
I'm down with that.
Now that we have found our permanent home for MCM, I want to step it back up. We scaled a couple things back this year because we weren't sure what the new venues would be like. But as we've seen this year, Brian, you were there. We have so much fucking room to do stuff, and I love the venues. It's just badass. I'm ready to scale it back to the craziness level. So, but I mean, was my idea.
I love that scaling it back to the craziness level.
Oh yeah. We used to do. You've seen the first 2 MCMs. We did so much crazy shit the first 2 years because we knew what the hall limitations were, and we had no idea what we were doing this year with the hall because it was just, and we found out it was just too big. Like we get there, like wow, we feel empty in this hall. Like we need to start ordering.
We did need more stuff in general.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, nothing to see here. I'm just getting a Loch Ness Monster Tree Fitty gif up for us. Nothing to see here, guys.
But yeah, I'm gonna figure out when I'm running to the RTT, which I totally did not forget about the Kondo Hammer until Brad just reminded me a few minutes ago because I was like, hey Brad, let's get some practice this Saturday. Yeah, dumbass, you're playing in like RTT this Saturday. Oh.
You sound like me. One of my favorites is still when I went to Triple C and Nurgle Matt picked me up and he literally messaged me of, hey man, I'm like, 10, 15 minutes from your house. And I was like, oh yeah, I totally remembered that I was going to a tournament today and I didn't jump into the shower and brush my teeth and put clothes on a wet body and run into the car.
Brad, you've done it to me like 10 times.
I know. My brain's broke up.
But Brad, I'm going to be there in like 30 minutes. Make sure you're outside because we have like an 8-hour drive. Yeah, of course. I'll be ready. Comes running out. Doesn't have his army. Nothing. I'm like, so where's your clothes at? He's like, oh yeah, I probably should get that. Comes back out with a garbage bag and cold. I'm like, what are you doing tonight? Where the fuck is your army at?
That's the hobo Brad.
Oh yeah.
What? You guys keep saying it like it's a bad thing. I feel attacked
So,
here.
Brad, I happened to tell the pants story at Cruise
Oh
Hammer.
God.
Oh my god.
And I have convinced that when you go to Sweden the next time, you may just randomly be given pants by everyone.
God.
Right, no, the best part of that pants story is you weren't there for. He's like, I can have bed. I'm like, yeah, you can have the bed. Which one? Whatever one you want, Brad. They're both yours. I can have bed.
Dobby has a sock. He's a Frio.
In your bed, Brad, because you are clearly too drunk and.
It was a good night.
I keep telling him to not try and keep up with me.
Oh, shush your face.
It's a bad idea.
We're clearly the same height.
Back in the old days of 40K when I used to drink with you boys.
It's all good times. And the thing is that, well, you know what? Let's talk about good times. You know what's a good time right now? Let's talk about that meta, guys.
Oof. So
Perfectly balanced.
there was as many 5-0 Eldar armies as there was other 5-0 armies, if I understood everything correctly from the meta report.
Combined.
That is not a great sign for balance. And when you look at I think the biggest event on the weekend was from Canada, right?
We had the Salt City, or the Salt Lake.
Salt City, wow.
Yeah.
Salt City was just like, man, you had 2 Salt Cities this year.
I know, I'm amazing.
Didn't even enjoy
Why-
and he ran one of them while he was on a cruise. This guy's
Yeah,
well-oiled machine.
You're the man.
Right, Canada's big event, the Capital City Bloodbath, was this weekend. I know they had a lot of players. And didn't Tim win that? Tim Detlef?
Yeah.
Or
I think
guys?
so on that. The thing is that I'm fully willing to now say, the funny thing is Eldar is my favorite army, and I still haven't brought them to a tournament besides yours because, they're the bad guys. Yeah, I'm going to give you a stat. The guy from, again, I love the dude that does the 40K Meta Monday. Love him. He played IG this weekend at Salt Lake, but he brought up a great stat. Eldar currently has 38 GT-sized wins so far. In the first, we're less than 3 months in. You know what I mean? And in 10th edition here. And
Not even 2 months in.
yeah.
Brad, you don't have the right to even act like you don't play as a bad guy. You played Drukhari.
No. That's why. Check this out.
The most abusive
Drakari had 45 GT wins over their year of when they were very dominant. Eldar is going to beat that in 3 months.
Yep.
That's wild, dude.
The Drakari army was absolutely busted.
That thing was fair and bad. By the way, I'm telling you right now, you'd rather have me take that Drakari army rather than the current Eldar. Current Eldar would literally bane my old Drakari army, just snap it over its back.
Well, you gotta compare to the meta it was in. Like, that's like saying current Eldar would also bane the Grey Knights in 5th edition. And guess what? That Grey Knights was absolutely the Matt Ward Knights. They were absolutely insane. But they still wouldn't hold up to today's Eldar.
It's a different era. I mean, clearly. I think in skilled players' hands, Eldar are far too dominant for their point cost, their rules, everything else. If you look at it fundamentally across the board, in a skilled player's hand, Eldar are just way too good.
Which is why Brad can't run him right now. As you said, skilled player's hand.
Exactly. I'm going to be good someday. It's I've been like almost, it's 2.5 decades now. I'm just starting to get the hang of this 40K thing sometimes. Everybody's talking. I do want to go to the wall real quick because I agree on this. And this is why I've been pushing for mechanical changes for Eldar for a while now, because I think that they are going to receive a brutal whooping. Just crush time, sweep the leg, RKO out of nowhere. They are going down. And I'm sad because I think the problem is that I think that they're going to be unplayable after they get nerfed because GW is not known for their nice touches. You know what I mean?
So, Brad, if the touch is just points, and let's say that everything that's in the current meta for them get a 25% point increase, which is not an unprecedented number when they want to whack something into the ground. Doesn't that just still keep the army decent because they have so much other stuff that's really good in their book?
Yeah, yes, makes them more yes and no. They're just going to be double nerfed. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna get nerfed. And if you do that and they only nerf part of the stuff, then they're going to nerf them again. You can't do it with points. That's the thing. And they've done this multiple times. I mean, they did it at the end with Tyranids when they just went, the first nerf or so didn't set, so we're just going to literally knock them into another dimension. Yeah. Don't play that faction until a new edition comes out. So, and they've done this before. They've done this with multiple armies. You know what I mean? So I'm just worried that they're going to crush them. And don't get me wrong, they are a problem, but I think that they're mechanically a problem that can be fixed. And I've said this a million times. I didn't want to get into it much, but they have to do something about it. I think that the GSC nerf would hit a little bit harder, but they still won at a great percentage over the weekend. So I don't know if it's just because people haven't gotten used to playing against GSC with the nerfs now, because GSC breaks a lot of rules. You and I were talking about it before we went live. Yep. Which is GSC, when you play against them, you actually don't play a normal game of 40K. You play a super aggro, push GSC back, make them push their ambush tokens back. And you
have to play an Ogden-style game.
Yeah.
You have to be super aggressive, run at everything, go at everything, push into their deployment zone, make it so they can't blip up like crazy, make it more difficult for them to get to primary, because if you can deny them primary early, it can hurt them in the long game. And you just stretch that game out, in all honesty, as long as you can, score as much prime as you can. With tacticals, you're going to get a reasonable amount of secondaries. So I think that once people learn how to play against GSC, although, yes, they still need a few point adjustments on things, I don't think they're super busted.
I think they're in the realm of things to go. A couple of people have said this. The problem is, again, yes, we don't have top problems. I'm sorry, we have some top problems, but the bigger problems are still the fact that the bottom armies are in the dumpster. They got set on fire, drugged behind for a while, and dumped in a well. So
I mean, if you think about it, the armies that are in the bottom right now deserve to be there because they were so dominant in 9th edition. Death Guard, like, no one wants to see another good Death Guard army. Votan, I mean, AdMech. These armies are probably should be independently boxed because of how abusive they were. Like they were just destroying the meta. And so the last couple of days of
I just have a problem with like, there's your army being like, man, we weren't winning. We got down to 40%, whatever kind of thing. That kind of sucks. But like League of Votann, for instance, and Death Guard have both been winning at 31, 32%, like for the entirety of the edition. Yep. Fuck you. It's just like, you know what I mean? If that's your main faction, you're just like, I will choke a GW rep.
Imagine being like a Death Guard player.
2 months in, right? We are 2 months into this edition. We haven't seen a balance update yet. We will in September. That's what GW has promised us. I hope they bring the bottom up and the top down, and I hope they kind of leave the middle alone. So we can see if it's just because that top was the problem that was keeping those middles high. But you also have to look at a couple of things that are definitely abused and fix those. Because unchecked Necrons, unchecked Thousand Suns are going to be an issue.
They're an issue that I can deal with, though, because it takes combinations and different skills to play those armies, as opposed to just murder fucking everybody. You know what I mean? So that's a big deal.
Don't get me wrong. I've seen some unskilled players playing Eldar and just butchering their way to a 4-1 record, and the only reason they went 4-1 was they played against a skilled player who kind of knew how to go against them.
I'm not one of those people that like shits on GW and stuff regularly, but can you just imagine being that brand new player that bought Death Guard army because you thought they looked cool? Like, oh, these guys like decaying Space Marines. It's really cool. You get your army up and you go to your first event and the guy's like, yeah, your army sucked for like 3 editions. Good luck, bro. That would just be discouraging.
I can see that. So, going with that, let's go in with our main topic that one of us chose, and it's the guy that is awesome and tall and has the best hair, and that's me.
Well, I didn't choose that at all, but
With Tom also told me that it's not.
I was completely disqualified.
Tom also said that I was wrong, and it can't be that because it's not, and he Googled it. Can 40K become a true esport?
It can't. Esports is for video games.
Okay, we're going to humor me on this one. Okay, Tom. Thanks, buddy. But can we be something that is put out? It is something watched all the time. Like,
so
it is a competitive deal.
Something like poker. In my opinion, watching it live will be very appealing. But for the masses to consume it, I think a shortened, edited, down to like a poker style, what ESPN did with the World Series of Poker, Warhammer could become. I think there's that potential there. Because you could do interviews with players, you can teach the game, you can explain things better. I think all of that with a good announcer, a good announced team, a good graphics team, absolutely you could get it to that level.
See, maybe and maybe not. Like, I think the War Games Live is the best we've seen so far. And even then, I can only do so much watching it, and I'm a player. I'm like, and I was like, all right, been watching this for 2 hours now. I guess we'll stare at the corner.
Yeah, but if I was playing, getting all crazy, doing some good dances, singing a couple DMX raps for you, I mean, would you want us to hang out that?
So I think Joe at War Games Live does the best job currently out of anyone who does live tournament coverage, by far, hands down. And I think that, at least this is my opinion, and everyone can disagree with me, and they could be right. I could be completely wrong on this. I think an edited, streamlined, making it a little tighter, showing key moments, showing key parts of games, explaining strategies of a move with breakdowns very much analytically would be so much more watchable, and people would get a lot more out of it. That's my opinion. I mean, I know there's people who are coaches for a living probably wouldn't like that as much because it would take some of their, spots away, but it also would give them the opportunity to be the commentators, the coach on the screen explaining why the person moved the way they did. Basically John Maddening it out, going, if he moved here, he could have done this. If he went here, he could do this.
I think that 100%. I would love that. Because I'd like that's we talked about this Thursday, Monday. I don't know. Timing has no concept to me, but my biggest thing is I don't know what's going on sometimes. You know what I mean? Especially when you just have the top down. So if you had some John Madden, if you had being able to draw all over, you had people that were very interactive with the game, talking with it. But I do agree with Anna's got a couple things. A couple of people said stuff on the wall of, to make it really interesting though, you should be able to go. You'd have to have enough camera setups, and it's very cost prohibitive to go between anywhere between 4 and 6 tables at a time, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exact red zone. Exactly. Kara's got it right. If you had a 40K red zone where you constantly were going back and forth between tables, and you knew what was good, but the problem is that not only do you need the camera set up, but you also need the people, because you have to find out where the exciting stuff is happening at each table.
I think the one of the most prohibitive things we're going to have is getting the players to want to play that regularly on stream. Just so many people out there are afraid to play on stream, it seems, because they make one mistake and then you have Reddit, just the witch hunt coming out and just going at it. I mean, you have some players like me who won't give a shit because if I make a mistake, whatever, I just don't care what people think about me. But you have a lot of people who are afraid of that.
Yeah.
We'd have to, I don't know, we'd have to make people feel more comfortable and find ways that people know this is a game and people are going to make a mistake and they're playing for 3 days at 10 plus hours each day, and who knows what they're consuming. Mistakes are going to happen. But I think if we could get people more on a redemption road and try to help them and make mistakes, I think we'll be okay.
And I think if you're going to stream and you're going to do it at high level tournaments, it doesn't hurt to have a judge be that on your stream. So if something happens, the judge can go, hey, active, boom, correct, fixed, done, over. And that way the ridiculousness of people blowing up a chat and hearing someone go as a commentator go, oh, we can't interfere in the games. Well, if there's a judge there on the commentary, hey, guess what? You can.
Yeah, I like that. I do want to give one shout out real quick because a bunch of people are talking about this. Joe does do a good job of defending players when people try to get shitty with them in chat.
Yep.
I was actually going to go on that, by the way. I agree with Brian, and I agree with Granny. By the way, what's up, Granny? Or Ganny? I don't know what you said, Granny. She's like, I can't read Ganny. She's like,
his point is great, though. Like, you would need an active... I think that you need an active judge the entire time in a stream game.
You'd have to. I think having a game that's streamed and when there's mistakes made and nothing corrects and keeps going that way just puts a bad taste in the commenters' mouths, puts a bad taste in everyone watching it, and it makes the players feel bad afterwards when we get the power up to them.
And that's tough for an event. Now, I'll use myself for an example, who runs several 100-person events, right? Usually me, Zuber, and maybe one other person are doing it. So now when we bring in a streamer and I have to put a judge on the stream, I have to commit one of the guys who's walking around the room to be on the stream. So that's another tax on the TO, the judges that you have to look at. It's very tough to do. I mean, LVO did what? There was one year they did 3 stream tables, right? If I remember correctly, with War Games Live, and they did 2 themselves. That was great coverage, but they had to have a judge running between all those tables all the time to kind of try and catch things. And they were short judges at that point anyways. It's tough. I mean, I think the standard recommendation, at least that I've been told by, like FLG, was they want a judge for every 50 to 60 players. And if you go, well, it's 1,000 players, you need a ton of judges, right? Did they have that many judges there? No, I don't think so.
20 judges.
Yeah. Well, it's tough.
The thing is that if you're on that, I want to give it. Matt made a good point. He goes, asking players, do you want to be active judge and recorded might be a tough ask even for 100% clean players. I don't know about that though, because I would, if I had an active judge there the whole time, I like playing on stream anyways, because I'm a pretty princess and I want people to be paying attention to me. But I also, if you have an active judge there, but you have to have a good judge. You know what I mean? Someone that's there that can, get rid of anything right away, because you're going to make a mistake. I mean, I don't think that anybody's ever went through a tournament and not screwed something up, especially at the end, like Tom says, you're just tired, man. You know what I mean? Especially new edition, things like that. But having a judge there, I love that. I love active judging because it just helps. also the judge can run the clock for you guys if you're on clock. You know what I mean? So there's no questions about aggressive time clock use and things of that nature. So I actually would love to be on stream with an active judge all the time because he takes care of that for you.
Every event I've ever been to where we had an active judge at my table, I loved it.
Oh, I do love it. 100%.
Because like it's just you get those stuff where players I don't name any names or that, but certain players get salty when the game doesn't go their way. And when you have an active judge, no one can say anything because the judge was there the whole time. I love active judges for that reason. I wish the sport had more money because we could have active judges.
That's kind of why I want that esport thing. It just brings in more exposure, brings in more money. We can get judges. We can pay people to come out. We can get the room, the whatever you want as a judge. You know what I mean? To encourage more people to want to judge. And I would love that. Having one of the things that I loved about LVO, several different times at LVO, is you always had a judge right at your table. The judge ran your clock. And some of with the top 8 games were just easier than, your games coming up there. Because you just had that guy right there. He takes care of all the small things. At MCM this year, it was super great at the top tables. We just had John and Brian, basically, you guys just sat there, and it was fantastic to go, hey, I want to do this, and we were about to have let's not even bother having, not an argument, but just a discussion about it. The judges are right here. Hey, can I do this? Cool, no problem, guys. Quick measurement, quick look, quick whatever. Here's the ruling. Here's what we think. Good, done. Now continue your turn.
Spoiled, though. We had 2 top tier head judges. One that we homegrown and one that joined us and has been a big influence. And those guys made this year at MCM was the easiest thing ever. I had to do shit.
It was just so good.
Please do it from now on. Please take it off my hands completely.
As a player, it was just so fantastic, though. You know what I mean? I had Brian and John sitting there, and I just go, okay, well, what about this, guys? And both of you were on it like a hawk. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is this, boom, immediate ruling, immediate measurement, let's take a look. And I really liked, I'm going to give it to Frank props because I love him as a judge because he always makes sure both players, hey, this is what the ruling is, what I think. Do you guys both agree on this? This is the ruling, but this is why. So he gets both people involved, doesn't just make the ruling and then he moves on. But it's still quick too.
You give props to both of them. Having them to a team is the best thing ever because you see those cop movies where you have the good cop and the bad cop. Frank's literally the good cop. He's like, all right, guys, we're gonna do this together. This is the rule. We all agree. Cool. We're gonna measure this together. Brian comes and is like, fuck no, hey, you're wrong, you're right, that's it, get out.
I'm not that bad, but yeah, there are times.
Pretty much.
Third days.
I remember one time we were at an event, and we're more than one of our super majors, and it's like a DOG event, and Brian's like helping us run it, and I'm playing in it. Because I don't get to play super majors, I get to play in the smaller ones. And Brian walked over like, Tom, you're wrong, that's it, you understand? I'm like, okay. And he walks by, and the guy's like, Tom, doesn't he know you own this? Like, yeah, he knows I own this event. He don't give a shit. I said, don't say that too loud. Don't say it too loud and put me in timeout over there, all right? I won't go in timeout.
You've seen me do it before, and I will do it again.
Don't make me go in timeout on my clock. I don't want to do this. I didn't say it, Brian. It was all him. It wasn't me.
If you don't want to go into this, a couple of people were commenting on this, and I think it's a really good idea. If we ever were going to make it, because I never want to lose the sportsmanship and the camaraderie type of 40K. So I never want it to be just a cut and dry thing because it's not why I play, for instance, but that's just my opinion on that. But for it to move on, I do think that you're going to have a judging criteria. Like basically you just need more judges and more people that they're skilled, you know what I mean? And just taught.
While playing at Cruisehammer this weekend, I called Dan over and I'm like, look, do I get a cover save on this? Because I get down, I think my base is blocked, but I walk over there and I look at his angle on me and I think I can see almost all of it, but I'm not positive. And he thinks I get a cover save. And I just want to make sure I said, either way, I don't care. I just want you to rule it. And he came over and went, oh no, the very tip of your base is in the cover. So therefore you don't get the cover save because you're not fully within the cover. And I went, great. And I went, wish I'd have seen that to start with, but it was nice that somebody came over and just took the few seconds for us to do that.
It's nice. It just, agreed. it just, I don't know. I just really like active judging, but I think we just need more judges. And to get more judges, I think we need a judging circle. We need people to be on board with the same rulings all the time, by the way. Nothing will infuriate a player more than getting a ruling, especially like LVO, because there's so many tables and everything else. Nothing sucks more than on table 1 getting a ruling, in your first game, and then, game 5 or 6, you're at table 250 getting a separate ruling because it's, the other side of the building with a different judge.
That's one
thing. Tournament, we won't name the name of the tournament, but about the finals of the tournament, championship game, the guy's like, yeah, I'm going to charge you at my Stompa. You're like, bro, there's like between us. He goes, yeah, in this tournament, Stompas can go through walls. What? Yeah, Stompas, on stream, by the way, Stompas can go through walls. He's like, no. Happened to Brad. He's like, Brad, no, they can't. Get a judge involved. One judge's like, yeah, they can. The other judge's like, no, they cannot. Cannot do that. The guy's like, well, I've been doing this whole tournament. The guy's just charging through walls and hills and pretending the train wasn't there.
It was
so one of the tough things is most judges, and I'm not going to say all, I'm going to say most, are completely uncompensated outside of a room and some food at the event. And that's the one thing that in some ways discourages people giving up playing in the event to help judge the event, is that there's no benefit for them other than they helped out the community.
100%.
And for some people, that's not something that they find the greatest enjoyment. I'm all about helping out the community and growing. And Zuber, who's my second in command, and Jeff, who's my third, they are in the same boat of they like to help out. They will do what they can to help everything out. But there's a lot of judges who go, yeah, if you pay me and pay my gas and do this and compensate that, I'll come help you out. And a lot of other organizers go, man, I'm running on a shoestring budget. I make $100 on my event. I can't afford it.
And that's why if we had more of an e-sport, Tom,
Yep.
but just either basically if it was just more publicized, we had more sponsor, more money, more players, more everything. You know what I mean? If we just had more money coming in, we could put out more everything, be it
You're
judges.
telling me if Brad didn't get 13 crimes to sponsor his wine drinking for an event and bring in some more money, it would be great.
A couple things I want to hit quick. One, we've talked a lot about this, Brian, and something that I agree with you. DLG is done expanding the super majors. I think we think we have the train and one thing we need to run it. We don't have to keep dropping thousands of hours a year to keep expanding it. So the talk is now, starting next year, we're going to start paying our judges, is what I think. We're trying to figure out what we can afford to pay them, but they need to have their room paid for, their food comp, and a pay is what we're trying to work out. And we want to be kind of like one of the forefronts doing that. Two, I want to do two things on the wall I seen up there I thought was pretty good. One was from Miss Anna. Judges should have cards or something where they make a ruling and they give it to the player so that later event they can call that same one for repeat ruling. It's nice for that player, but it's also bad because what if they make the wrong ruling, right?
Yep.
And now they're enforcing a wrong ruling for the rest of the event. It shouldn't be done that way, in my opinion. And
the thing that I've started instituting is a Google Doc that is openable and viewable by all players, but not editable by players, only editable by the judges. And then you can go in and go, ruling, question, this is the response, this is the answer in reference to page, whatever.
So I was about to actually say something. I'm glad you brought that up. One thing, and I think we talked about this MCM, one thing I want to kind of incorporate for our events next year is the head judge has a document, and every time a judge makes a ruling, they submit it to that document, and the head judge will review it sometime in that round. And that's what I kind of want to do. I don't know how feasible it is, and I was hoping to talk to you more about the logistics about that later. Some things I was thinking about running for our events next year. The second thing, before we get too far up, and this is nothing serious, this is for Matt O. It says, just don't say baby boy in front of European players. First off, boy, baby boy, it was an I, not a Y. Let's do it right. We're gonna say my word. Let's spell it right. And two, I say it to European players all the time. They never said anything to me. How many times Brady's team played with Nassim or the kid from Austria that I played got me? He tabled me in one round, or was it Germany? Austria one. I think it was Germany. Tabled me in one round at Adepticon. Well, actually, killed a calf arm and said, yeah, you look tired. We'll just give the rest of the game. Relax, get some naps. Hell yeah. I called him baby boy 50 times. I think they have a counter. He didn't say shit to me. Tons of European players. The thing is, though, is when people hear me say it to them, I'll say right to Friday, man. By the way, I'm probably gonna call you baby boy or baby girl. I don't mean disrespect. It's just kind of how I call people. It's not condescending. I'm not talking down to you. It's just that's a term of endearment for me. I'm like, oh, okay. I said I'll try my best if you don't like it to not say it, but if it comes out, I apologize. It's kind of like my second nature. So I've had no one ever be mad at me. I know the streams like, oh, you're going to baby boy. Fuck anyone who doesn't like it, in my opinion. Can't cancel me. I don't care. I told Brad that 100 times. You can't cancel somebody who doesn't give a shit if they're canceled or not.
I'm just gonna see Tom's gonna just be on all Major Kills streams somehow.
I'm gonna make it a point when I play European player on a stream like War Games Live again. I'm gonna try to rack up the baby boy comments as much as I can. Like I'm like, yo, what's up, baby boy? How you doing today, baby boy? Baby boy this, baby boy that, baby boy this. That's why we're still in deployment. By the way, I'm gonna try to get to 30 before we get out of deployment. I'm gonna rack that counter up.
Like
Joe
Tom,
made a joke. Like every time you're on stream, I'm always gonna have the counter now.
Tom, did you have a baby boy written on every one of your bases?
Yes. This is baby boy A. This is baby boy C.
I love everything about that. This makes me so happy. But I still think that I would like it. What do you guys think that the opportunity is for it, though? What is there a reality for it happening?
I think the opportunity is there because there are a lot of people who are adjacent to Warhammer who are not Games Workshop, who sell paints, would love the advertising dollars to bring their revenues up. It would be inexpensive for them in many aspects to just get brought to you by, Green Stuff World, brought to you by, I don't know, New Wave Palettes or, whoever's Redgrass Games. Tons of companies out there that sell stuff that's wargaming adjacent.
Chico's Bail Bonds?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Whoever wanted to sponsor it. And if you get the right stuff, I mean, you're going to get like, hey, look, a wine company would sponsor Brad, right? Because Brad would walk around with their wine bottle, their logo on and everything all day long. And they would get tons of sales off that from people just seeing it and go, oh, well, Brad drinks it while at a Warhammer tournament. And you just do a hashtag movement of take a picture with this bottle at a Warhammer tournament and tag Brad in it for a chance to win whatever, a free month's coaching from Brad or something to that effect. It would catch, and a company would get something off that with social media presence and everything else. I think that there's a lot of opportunities there.
I'd just like to see us to have our opportunities for judges to get paid, more people involved. I mean, the bigger the better for me. You know what I mean? As long as, and this is a big as long as, a big pause on that. As long as this game stays fun, stays true to, I guess, what I think is the roots of the game, which is this is still a beer and pretzels game. You know what I mean? We're still men playing with toys. So it's a big deal on that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And one of the people was suggesting to me, we were talking about streaming at Cruisehammer, and I was talking with one of the guys, and he was like, the reason I don't like to go on stream is I don't think my army looks very good. And I'm like, there's thousands of players who don't think they paint well, who actually paint much better than they think they do. And you know what? People like to see things that look like theirs on stream. Yes, it's great to see the thousands and thousands of dollars commissioned painted armies that are painted that are absolutely gorgeous and all that. Those are great to see on stream as well. Don't get me wrong. But it's also nice to see, hey, John started 3 months ago playing Warhammer, and this is his first tournament, and these are what he put together. Great. That's encouraging for the other guy that was like, I was thinking of going to an event. Oh, my stuff looks kind of like that. Great. Encourage people to go. Don't discourage them.
You remember at the first ACO when I was playing at you, Brad, and you were there, Brian, and I was like, hey, can you talk to them? Like, yeah. I had a lot of people there talking about Dark Angels because it's here create Dark Angels counter Drukhari. And then I got murdered by 30 people. He's like, yeah, we're really glad you're playing this army, and you're kind of helped change the meta, but your army looks like shit. And I'm like, that's like,
Dave I had Dave from this is back a ways, but Dave from Adepticon came up to me and goes, hey Brad, is there any chance you could show up with an army that doesn't look like total shit because you're always in the top 16 and we always have to look at it? I was like, that's hurtful, man.
The sad part is it wasn't even my army that they trashed. I did Borrowhammer because I didn't get my army back from, well, technically the day before I left the commissioner was like, yeah, it's ready. But then I had to drive like 4 hours north to then drive 12 hours south, which would have made 12 hours south to 16 hours. I was like, yeah, fuck that. Just do Borrowhammer. I don't care. And then I got completely trashed, and Brad's like, look at me afterwards, like, man, you look sad. It's like, yeah, those guys said my army looks like shit. I kind of broke my heart. Those guys, like, they're all friendly and stuff. And then at the end, like, by the way, your army looks like shit, man. We're kind of disappointed in you. I'm like, oh, man, what the fuck just happened here? Brad's buying me, like, drinks. Better. It's like, here you go, Tom. Just drink it.
Drink it away. It'll take away the pain, buddy. Come on, baby boy. Just have a drink. You won't
That was
feel
the day
that
baby
pain.
boy. Hey, that was the day baby boy was born because Brad made me feel better with the word baby boy. So I was traumatized. All right,
What are we going to next, guys?
Nova and Condo Hammer.
Condo
I think for
Hammer?
you guys, it's Nova and your Condo Hammer thing. I don't have anything on my docket right now. I'm back to work becomes kind of a nightmare for me for the next month. So I am very much work focused for the next month, and then I'll see in October what I can squeeze in.
I'm going to do a
You get
video.
Mission GT.
I don't know. It's kind of
Oh.
up in the air right now.
Come, we'll find someone who you can crash your room for free.
I am doing a bunch
There's
of
gonna be
videos.
like 60 DOG there.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a video of a recap. I'm going to get a bunch of content done for Nova and the Orc Exodus to Nova. We will see. And then I'm going to put it out afterwards. I'm excited for it. So,
Nice.
I mean, the Orc journey will be videoed. It's going to be fantastic. I want to throw everybody out here. Starting this Thursday, I've been saying I'm going to do it for a while, and I'm actually going to make it happen. I want to show people that are part of our community's models. So if you'd like to have your models shown on the Thursday show, because I'm going to choose 1 or 2 people a week, and I'm just going to showcase their models. As we're talking, I'm just going to put one of my windows up, talk about whose models they are, and what army they're playing right now. So I just like to show everybody where your army is. Doesn't matter if it's the best painted army, the worst painted army. Just want to see what you're working on and the things that you're proud of, or just basically where your army's in the process right now. Are you getting ready for something?
Hi.
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 Hey,
By the way, everyone, this is where I've been gone for like the last 3 months. Say hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
like weirdly enough, he's actually only 3 months old. Tom has literally been using the super soldier serum on him. Those are too many words, man.
Yeah.
Alliteration's tough.
Brad talk big words hard.
Arch, Opie Duke, Brad do things, and that's when you know we're about done. When I'm completely, the lights
sad
burning my
part-
eyes.
The sad part is Wyatt's 2 years old and he's already bigger than Brad.
I mean, is that the thing? Is that really a big
It's not
deal?
Yeah. Brad calls him Uncle Wyatt already. But no, seriously, before we get off here, Brian, you need to come to Machine GT. It's the one event that gets the most DOG players besides MCM. There will be probably more than 60 of us there. You can
And
that's a-
again, barbecue.
oh yeah,
That was the best part of that last
Come
year.
on, man. I literally didn't even play in the singles, and I still stayed for the barbecue.
We'll see if I can pull it off.
All right.
Good
Well, on that
times.
note,
Everyone, thanks for hanging out with us. Do check out, we're going to have more and more content coming out. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, I'm going to be doing another video with Mr. Dice from Rice, Sean Rice. We're going to be talking about Orcs, the WOG, in another Deal With It segment. We'll be back on Wednesday at 1 with the Traveling Gypsy right now, Mr. Brandon Valley from Still Frosty. Then you'll see the old guys on Thursday talking about the hobby, talking about everything that it is involved in, basically sci-fi, fantasy, and everything else I decided to talk about on that. Brian and I will be doing Thursday.
But on Thursday, also because Blake has been bugging me, he wanted to see pictures of my army. I will actually have pictures of my
Oh,
army.
perfect. And I'll
So,
I'll
have that.
slideshow through those also. I'm excited about it. We got a great week of stuff going on. We're going to get back to Friday Night Fights. We've got a ton of stuff going on. Look at the content that'll be coming out for DOG. Check out our
couple
Patreon.
things I want to say
Oh,
quick.
go ahead.
First off, I know we kind of not been super active on Patreon because I've been gone and Brad didn't do anything while I was gone. So
I get
we're gonna
thrown
be
on the
running-
bus on it.
yeah, we're gonna be running a ton of free stuff for Patreons for the next 3 or 4 months. We're gonna be bringing tons of content out. Everyone that was a patron is still a patron. Those who are not patron out will get access to it. Just as a hey, thank you. Sorry, we kind of disappeared. I didn't realize I was going through an adoption process. It kind of came out of nowhere and it took my entire attention. And it's on me and it's on the rest of the crew here. So we have a lot of that coming out. And then we also have Frogtown coming in September, which is like a 60 to 80 man GT we run. It's in its 3rd year. It's been really good. And then our brand new Super Major, which will be the same size as MCM, just in Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yep, in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Beautiful venue. It's going to be all the crazy stuff that you've seen at MCM there. It's very high-end venue, so it's going to be a lot of blast. And we're looking forward to it. So we have a lot of good things coming out the pipe. And for all the Patreon members on here, we're going to be throwing so much content at you very soon as I am funny. And those of you guys who unsubscribed, we totally understand. Kind of went dead for a while. You're going to get your money's worth still. Don't worry. We got you guys.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. On that note, everybody, stay
Stay
milky.
milky. Oh, yeah.